Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the complex, highly controversial, and heavily scrutinized life of Andrew Tate. From his days as a pro fighter to literally becoming one of the most searched guys on the entire internet, his story is wild. It's a tale of extreme wealth, massive digital influence, and right now, some very severe legal peril. So, how'd we actually get here? Well, we're going to look strictly at the facts, the data, and the documented timelines from global investigations and his own public statements to figure it out. Let's jump in. Okay, let's start right off the bat with a direct quote from the man himself, from a 2021 interview. It perfectly sets the stage for the deeply polarizing figure we're looking at today. Tate has unapologetically built his entire public persona around statements exactly like this one, proudly claiming titles that, honestly, most public figures would run away from. And he directly links these controversial views to his massive wealth. Which brings us to the big question. How exactly does someone transition from a relatively niche career in combat sports to amassing a global following, pulling in millions of dollars a month, and ultimately facing multinational criminal indictments? We're going to trace this unprecedented path, step by step, to really understand the nuts and bolts of his empire. To really wrap your head around the sheer scale of his reach, just look at this number. 11.6 billion. That is the number of views videos featuring the Andrew Tate hashtag had racked up on TikTok by August 2022 alone. That's billion with a B. It's a level of digital virality that was practically unmatched. I mean, at one point, he was actually being searched more on Google than Donald Trump and COVID-19. Section 1. The King Cobra Origins. Before he was an internet titan, Emory Andrew Tate III was a professional kickboxer, fighting under the name King Cobra. He started his full-contact career back in 2005 over in England and quickly climbed the ranks. By 2011, he captured his first world title, eventually securing 4 world championships by 2014. But his real career pivot, that happened in 2016 when he stepped out of the ring and right into the reality TV spotlight on Big Brother UK. Now, what's really fascinating here is how his first taste of mainstream fame ended. After just 6 days, producers booted Tate from the Big Brother house. The removal was tied to a video that appeared to show him striking a woman with a belt, which, for the record, Tate claimed was totally consensual roleplay. However, reports later revealed that producers were also tipped off about an open police investigation into sexual assault allegations. That investigation was ultimately closed in 2019 without any charges, but this abrupt exit heavily foreshadowed the massive controversies that were coming his way. Section 2. Building a digital empire. So, following his kickboxing retirement, Tate and his brother Tristan packed up, moved to Romania, and went all in on the internet. And the crucial takeaway here is just how diversified and calculated this whole empire became. They started off with a webcam business, which Tate himself later admitted involved selling, and I quote, fake sob stories to men online. Next up was Hustlers University. This was a $49.99 a month subscription program where members were heavily incentivized through affiliate marketing to basically flood social media with clips of Tate. And finally, the elite tier, the War Room. For an $8,000 entry fee, you got access to a secretive network focused entirely on extreme wealth and male dominance. And the financial results of that pyramid-like setup? Honestly, it's staggering. By August 2023, estimates showed that his online subscription ventures, primarily The Real World, which was the successor to Hustlers University, and The War Room, were pulling in an unbelievable $5 million in revenue every single month. However, the methods behind all that wealth were deeply, deeply disturbing. A BBC investigation into leaked chats from the War Room exposed a highly organized system of exploitation. Members reportedly studied a course they actually called a PhD, which stood for Pimping Hoes Degree. It detailed really calculated strategies to romantically seduce, socially isolate, and emotionally manipulate women to doing webcam work, just so the men could profit. Section 3. The Manosphere and Misogyny. So beyond the crazy financial gains, Tate really positioned himself as a top thought leader in the online manosphere. But look at the stark contrast between how Tate views himself versus how watchdogs see him. Tate claims his message is simply all about traditional discipline, hard work, and religious devotion. He genuinely says he's a force for good. But then you look at the Anti-Defamation League, and they paint a vastly different picture. They report that he actively teaches his massive, mostly young audience that women are inferior property who actually deserve emotional and physical abuse. And guys, this wasn't just some abstract internet debate. This ideology had massive, real-world consequences that are impacting kids today. His influence literally bled into classrooms. UK teachers were forced into sold-out training courses just to figure out how to deal with young boys mimicking Tate's behavior. The Australian government had to allocate $3.5 million to counter his impact in their schools. And crucially, surveys found that children exposed to his content were 5 times more likely to believe that hurting people is completely acceptable. Section 4. Banned from the Internet. The real tipping point for the major social media platforms finally hit in late 2022, sparked by a highly publicized exchange. And it started totally unprovoked. Tate tweeted at climate activist Greta Thunberg, bragging about the enormous emissions of his 33 supercars, while Thunberg's sharp satirical reply went instantly viral, actually becoming one of the most liked tweets in internet history. While it might have seemed like just a simple online spot, it amplified Tate's aggressive persona to a huge mainstream audience right at the exact moment platforms were heavily scrutinizing his content. Following that massive spotlight and a wave of campaigns by online safety groups, a coordinated deplatforming basically erased his official presence. Meta permanently banned him from Facebook and Instagram for violating policies on dangerous individuals, TikTok removed him for dehumanizing content, YouTube suspended his channel for hate speech, and even financial processors like Stripe cut ties with his businesses. But despite all of this, his vast network of loyal fans ensured his videos just kept circulating through the algorithms anyway. Section 5. The legal downfall. But, as it turned out, losing his social media was just the precursor. As 2022 drew to a close, the digital controversy rapidly morphed into severe real-world criminal allegations. Let's trace this escalating legal timeline. In late December 2022, Romanian anti-organized crime police dramatically raided his compound, arresting Andrew and Tristan. By June 2023, the brothers were formally indicted in Romania on charges of rape, human trafficking, and forming an organized crime group to sexually exploit women. Then, the scope went international when the UK issued an extradition warrant in March 2024, based on historical sexual aggression allegations. And the legal assault wasn't just criminal, they came for the finances too. In 2024, a UK court ruled in favor of Devon and Cornwall police, allowing them to freeze £2.8 million worth of unpaid taxes. This money was derived from the Tate brothers' online wealth creation businesses, pointing to massive, alleged tax evasion. As this timeline builds into late 2024 and 2025, we see a really frantic global escalation. In August 2024, Romanian authorities expanded their investigation to include highly severe allegations of the trafficking of minors. These are incredibly grave charges. Then, in early 2025, after travel restrictions were reportedly lifted following some political pressure, Tate fled Romania by private jet for Florida. But if he thought that was an escape, he was wrong. The Florida Attorney General immediately opened a criminal investigation the moment he arrived. And shortly after that, the UK Crown Prosecution Service authorized a staggering 21 charges against the brothers. So, looking at the landscape as of mid-2025, here is the stark reality. Andrew Tate is fighting a massive, multi-front legal war. He's facing severe criminal trials in Romania, 21 heavy charges in the UK, an active investigation in the US, plus multiple civil lawsuits for damages. Through all of this, it's very important to note that Tate and his brother categorically deny every single charge, claiming they're victims of a coordinated conspiracy trying to silence them. We'll leave you with this final, crucial question to think about. Regardless of how these global trials play out, Andrew Tate's story forces us to look really closely at the intersection of social media algorithms, the spread of toxic ideologies, and the massive financial incentives driving them. How do the systems we use every single day allow for the rapid monetization of such extreme controversy? Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer, and we really encourage you to keep questioning the information you consume online. See you next time.